So now you're eating healthy, you're doing all that, tell me, what can somebody who wants to eat healthy, what kind of things can they do? Small scale things, micro things, 1% things. What kind of things can they do today, right now, tomorrow, next week to start getting their life on track as
Okay.
far as eating better?
You can intermittent fast, which means
Yep.
you only eat from say 10 a.m. to 6 at night, or 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Whatever your hours are, you set it and you stick to it. Number two, don't combine flesh and starch. And when I say flesh, I mean anything that we would refer to as meat or fish, or
Mhm.
anything anything animal with rice and potatoes.
Mm. Steak, man, steak and potatoes is one of my favorite meals.
And that is, they might as well be feeding y'all Elmer's glue when like it's sinister. The food groups, everything needs
Mm.
to be found on the food pyramid.
Elmer's glue?
Elmer's or glue back.
Man, I only seen that in Hey Arnold.
Then I would drink lots of water. I would get, 4 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Ideal hours between 9 and 3 a.m.
You don't think
I
more
would.
sleep?
I think if you eat a lot of food, you need more sleep, and the
Okay.
reason that is your body takes 60 to 80% of its energy all towards digesting food.
Oh.
So when you're eating late at night and then you wake up the next day like you didn't sleep, you didn't. Your body was digesting food all night.
Mm. So is there a
Uh,
certain time that you should not eat at night?
ideally, ideally, we should eat when the sun is at its highest point.
Dang, what if I get
And
hungry at night though?
that's a parasite that you need to kill.
Mm.
That's some shit that's getting in the way.
Mhm. Dang.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So I would do those. I would drink water for your first, meal or two in the morning, like
Mhm.
six 32 to 64 ounces. If you're having a lot of fruit later in the day, maybe you don't need any more water. If you're
Mhm.
not having a lot of fruit, you should be having half your body weight in ounces of water, at
Yeah.
least. Spring
Yeah.
water.
Oh, you said spring water?
Spring water.
Okay. What about alkaline?
Spring water is alkaline. Alkaline's that vegan shit they trying to sell you on some shit. Like,
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. So alkaline water is just spring water? So why is it $2 more?
some of the alkaline water is even worse than spring water. It has unnatural minerals added, or it's electrocuted, like that canyon water.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. When I was, Joel, I really think that that's a good point that you make. One, because people just don't drink enough water as it is
yeah.
at all. And I think half of people's sickness, and I shouldn't say half, but I think a lot of problems come from people not drinking enough water. Their bodies are dehydrated, right? A lot of people, have a couple drinks. A lot of people smoke, whether that's tobacco or other stuff that really dehydrate them and they don't replenish their body. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's really important. But when I was taking CMOS, you get the CMOS dry.
Yeah,
And one time I added tap water to the CMOS, and then I added spring water to the sea moss. And the
different.
spring water really it turned the purple sea moss like fluorescent. The spring water, the spring water, it was like dark purple. It was crazy. It's the first time I seen something from the sea really like get life from having water in it again. Right? And that was when I really started to look at water differently. Now I only drink spring water. I only drink spring water now.
What moss with the tap water look like compared to?
Say that again?
What did the tap water sea moss look like to
Yeah,
you?
the tap water sea moss, it just looked a little darker. It just looked darker. It just didn't look like it was alive.
It looked like dead water.
I don't know what dead water looks like, but if that's what dead water looked like, then yes, that's what it was. Hmm.
Man, gotta tell you, like, I don't, yeah, water in a, water is not what it should be. Like coming out the faucet, that water is not what it should be. Um, when you look at sea moss under a microscope, it looks like a sponge, just like our skin. When we take a shower, we're drinking a glass or two of that water. So
Mm.
what we put in the sea moss or in our on our skin, it's gonna soak up. So tap water, lots of chemicals, lots of pharmaceuticals, lots of fluoride, lots
Mm.
of chlorine.
Oh.
There's chlorine on your baby carrots too, but we gotta
Mm.
watch putting in our bodies, especially water, because we're majority water, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's good, Joel. Man, you have such a good insight on this, Joel. I really, the way that you're able to articulate, these things, and you don't have to take us at face value here. We want you to go and do your own research and look these things up for yourself. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're not here to tell you that what he's doing or what I'm doing is the right thing. We just want to give you the knowledge to be able to make an informed decision. I think too
Right.
many times people just make decisions off a whim, off what other people are doing. And if you're not vetting, what people are saying, then you're wrong to me. Um, what are those foods? Before we wrap it up here, what are those foods that you you mentioned that we should stay away from? And if you're watching, get your pen and paper. Um, go ahead and write this down because this is gonna be good here.
So I'm gonna give you the main ones to stay away from that are veggies, and then
Hmm.
I'm gonna give you stay away from if you're still in that transitional period where you're doing, meats and dairies and stuff, right? Because it takes time, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
if I'm gonna start off with the transitional stuff, I'm gonna say the veggies for the vegans in the set.
Okay.
If you're still doing flesh and dairy, try to stay away from tilapia. Try to stay away from pig. Try to stay away from shellfish,
Shellfish, as in
include
like
crab, lobster, shrimp. Uh,
seafood,
what's the
shrimp
what's
scampi.
the other shrimp scampi? Oysters and yeah, those. So
Okay.
stay away from those.
Yeah.
Stay away from farm raised salmon or farm raised anything. You want a wild caught salmon with no added colors or preservatives. If it's frozen, check the label.
Hmm.
Then um,
Yeah.
and then for meat, you antibiotic free, grass fed, cow or chicken. But I'm not really a fan of the cow or chicken. I would try and find like your local butcher or meat shop and find
Hmm.
some buffalo or some deer, something that was free and your ancestors probably ate. So your DNA will, recognize what to do with that more.
Get
But
me a get me a buffalo burger.
for real. And I
Okay.
think Costco has ground buffalo. And it says on the ingredients, it says this animal has special laws in the U.S. that it can't be tampered with and given vaccines and pharmaceuticals and whatever else they want to give to all your other animals.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would try and get those and stay away from those. I would get raw dairy. I would not get pasteurized. Anytime you get a juice off the shelf that's been pasteurized, it's been radiated so it can stay there. That's a form of preservation that's going to give you cancer.
Mm.
Um, so I would get the raw milk, raw dairy. I would try and go white over yellow because the yellow got the colors, and I would try and find some goat milk or goat dairy
What
because
about what about almond milk?
I'm not a fan of the. I would rather you have a blender with some walnuts and some honey or some maple syrup or date syrup and water, spring water. That's what I'd rather. I'm not a fan of them putting all those gums and preservatives in the
Mm-hmm.
plant based. That's why, yeah. So I
Gotcha.
would do I would do that if you're still in that, and I would also try to stay away from stuff on the shelves unless it's like a one ingredient pasta or bean or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And honestly, all of Dr. Sabi's lists at Walmart and Aldi's. So
Mm-hmm. Where
they'll-
where can where can people find Dr. Sabi's content at?
Google, YouTube,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll post a link in the description on some good Dr. Sabi um tips uh and things that he said cuz he does have a lot of good things to say. Um
yeah.
Anything else that you got for the people, Joe? I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. You know, I appreciate you a lot for, being one of the early guests on this podcast here, man. We're all I can say is, I think the direction in which where we want to go is very organic. I don't
Yeah,
think we're here to try to sell anybody anything. I think we're genuinely here to try to just give an honest opinion and really give people information to make an educated decision on their life.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
bro.
so, man, well,
Man,
Joel,
appreciate it,
yeah,
bro. It's it's been a nice one. I'm excited for the Hood Rich Carlton show and excited to watch it grow and come back on and
yeah,
just appreciate your family and
yeah. No,
man, y'all, yeah, y'all been such a light to me, man.
hey, I think you're not only a light to me, but with the way your hair is, you might be Jesus dropping into the light with that light above you, dog. Oh man, well, thank you again for coming on to the Hood Rich podcast, Joel. It really means a lot. Um, again, I appreciate everything that you do. Um, it really means a lot that you've came on here and thank you, Joel. We'll definitely touch base offline.
We gonna be back sooner rather than later, bro.
Yeah, we'll be back because a big thing with us is follow up. So we're not just going to give you some content one time. We're going to bring the content back because you hear something 21 times, it becomes a habit. 30 days, it's a part of your life. So
Let's get
like I said in the beginning, man, and there's two things in this life that you can control: your effort and your attitude. And make it a great day or not, Joel. The choice is always yours.
hey, hey, hey.
Deuces. Man. Shout out to Joel. You know, he really has a unique perspective um, on health, and I think for people that may see him or wonder like how does he do all that and what is he doing? It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to be able to train your body and your mind to eat nuts and plants and, do things, the I don't want to say the real healthy way, but to do things his way, which he views as healthy, because there's really no right way. I know people that have ate all plants that have lost a lot of weight. I know people that, have ate all meat and got in the best shape of their life. I know people that did certain diets where they only ate carbs and they lost a lot of weight. There's no right way to do anything. And I think the moment that you start making decisions for yourself and for what works for you, that's when you'll figure it out. But sometimes the hardest step to take is the first one, right? I'm new to this podcasting thing. I don't really know how it works, but you know what? I'm gonna dive into it head first because I know eventually I'll figure it out. I just left a job and we're gonna do a podcast with, another guy of mine. He left the same job that I did. Um, I got another buddy that left a different job, and we'll talk about how to make that transition and what it's like to actually go through that. And um, it's not easy. Nothing in this life is easy. Everything really takes hard work if you want to be good at it. If it was easy, everyone would do it, but they don't because it's not easy. So, if I can tell you guys anything today, it's no matter where you're at, you can take that first step. You may take 10 steps back, but you're already taking one step forward. So thank you guys for tuning in. It was nothing but a pleasure. I genuinely appreciate all of you. And this is AC, HoodRichCarlton, signing out.